Just wonder, in general, how you feel at the moment. It's been an up and down couple of weeks, some great performances with some indifferent ones as a team generally. Just wondering what your view is from the goal.
Yeah, it has been a difficult couple of weeks, if I'm honest. What doesn't help is the volume of games we've got in the period of time. I think if you look probably through most of the leagues, you'll probably start to see a fluctuation of results and performances regarding that. Probably more so in the Football League, with them being limited to their squad sizes compared to us. But our squad sizes are probably limited more on finance in this league than the leagues above, who have strict rules against it. But it's just difficult to. It's easy to get momentum because you have game after game after game, but it's difficult to kind of sustain that level of performance throughout it all because, look, no bones about it, it's a tough league to get out of. Most teams in here, they're doing what they can to perform in it, and some are very aggressive, high intense pressing teams. Some try and play football like Hartlepool did. So the past couple of weeks, difficult in terms of the travel and the amount of games we've had, and I don't think you can avoid the fact that for any player or anyone in a form of life, when your manager changes, it does become a slight time of unease because you've got new people in the building. But however difficult that period was, the new manager's come in and set his blueprint, and we have done it in a fashion with performances of near enough being there. A few results haven't been good enough, and that's kind of an opinion from the whole squad, not just me or anyone else. But going forward, we know what direction we want to go in and how we're going to do it, and it's just a case of hopefully implementing that game after game in this important time now.
You make a couple of very good points there, and one is about the new manager, and you talk about the amount of games coming up. So I guess that's hard for a team to get used to their new manager's styles and desires when you're really getting much less time on a training field than you probably normally would.
I'm sure it's difficult both ways. I'm sure it's difficult from the manager's point of view, coming into a club that are playing every 4 days. For a long period, for him to implement his style, but also for the players to understand what he wants from them. I think they have been very good as soon as they came in, and was quite bold and to the point. This is how we want to play. This is what we want to do. They've probably taken a bit more time in terms of putting their point across through some analysis work. Whereas I think if they had more time available on the training ground, they probably would be a bit more biased towards doing it on the training ground. But they've done really well in terms of doing it through the analysis and us watching clips and kind of speaking about it that way, and then going onto the training ground and doing the limited work that we're able to do in terms of the time periods we have between games.
And the other point you raised is, when you said about a game every 4 days, they are exceptional circumstances this year. But I wonder, as a player, whether you would like the authorities to try and make sure that it doesn't happen again, because so many teams have a backlog of fixtures. I mean, not in particular in the National League. But as a player, would you like to see things put in place maybe next season going forward that you don't have to go through this again?
I would raise the question that, has the welfare of the players within the squads been considered within the schedule that's been put forward? I think if everything had have fallen correctly, if we'd have won in the FA Trophy and we'd had to have rearranged a game there, we wouldn't have had a free week at all until the end of the season, am I right? And then if you have any more cancellations in terms of any COVID problems, or we've kind of passed it now, but if there was any weather problems, I think it's a serious question on player welfare if you're asking people to play 3 games a week. So a Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is very questionable. I'd wonder whether that was brought up. But I think the point you raised there, that we're in exceptional circumstances. We don't expect this to be a common occurrence. It also is kind of a downside of being in a successful side. If you're in the Football League and you have a good cup run, you will get in a similar situation. So there is positives and negatives. I think what I would surmise is that they are probably looking forward rather than the period of time now, and they probably want to make sure that they can reset the schedule and the league schedule back to as much as normal as quick as they can. And maybe by doing what they are doing now, it allows them from next season to be able to run a normal schedule. Look, whether that's the right thing or the wrong thing, and whether these questions have been raised and or not, I'm not aware. I don't know. I'm not part of that discussion, and I wouldn't expect that to be the case. But definitely, if there was any more add-ins to the schedule, I think that would be a serious question that would have to get brought up. And I think if you look in the press recently, the PFA have actually brought that up about squad sizes being limited next season in the Football League, and that's one of the concerns they have about player welfare with that as well. So it's out there, but whether it's getting spoken about seriously, I'm not sure.
That's a wonderful answer. I mean, is there anything as players that you can do more, do you think, to be able to raise the awareness now it's out there?
It's a strange situation, because I think if you're a player and you're coming out and saying, look, you're tired, you're fatigued, it's not helping you, then I think you will probably undoubtedly be scrutinised by the public, because they'll turn around and say, well, all you do is play football for a living, you should be fit enough to play a game every day. It's not as easy as that, and I think the older your body gets and what it's been put through, it does become harder to do week in, week out. About bringing it to light, I think at the minute that it's probably enough in the limelight in terms of what the PFA is saying. If anything did become like I said, the schedule became even more congested, then I think something would have to be said. But from a player's point of view, especially here, the lads are just making sure that we do everything we can in terms of recovery and kind of work within the club, away from the club, to make sure that we can be back at the levels to perform game in, game out. And credit to the staff, and a massive credit to the players in this real difficult time. That, I mean, the last thing you kind of want to do is go home again to your home that you've seen for the last 11, 12 months, where you haven't been out, and not do anything else. But the lads are doing that because they know that this is a really important time for the club and the run of fixtures we've got, that we have to do that and make sure that we are capable of being able to perform at our very best for the next game, and then the next game, and then the next game.
Wonderful. That was good. Thank you very much.
No problem. Lee?
Hang on, I'm here. Sam, how are you? Are you okay?
Yes, thanks to you.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, standard. Wonderful answers about the fixture congestion, Sam. How much has it affected you this season personally?
Not my problems. I suffer from probably more tight backs, glutes, that type of thing, because of the surface and then the run of fixtures. So throughout the winter, it's not too bad because most of the surfaces are a bit softer. But as the surfaces start to get firmer, your training ground, your training regime as a goalkeeper, our training is, in terms of the demands on your body, very similar to rugby players. The amount that keepers are putting themselves, the force and trauma through it, hitting the ground and getting back up. A combination of that and the travelling within the short space is what makes it more difficult for myself. I mean, a few of the players have invested in these Theragans that are very popular at the minute, but they kind of allow you to be able to do deep tissue massage for yourself at home. I mean, I invested in one of them 2-3 days ago, and it is helping me massively. I think it's just one of them things. The older you get, the more football you've played. You make sure you do everything you can to recover and get your body back in a position that it is able to perform day in, day out, because that's what we want to do at a top club. It's not something that we can have an off day.
What are Theragans? I just want to know what
they're these like it's almost like a pneumatic gun, and they're electrical, and you put different fittings in the end, and it can be a bit more trigger point, or it can be a smooth massage or stuff like that, and you kind of just push it into your muscle where you have trigger points in terms of your muscle getting really tight and fatigued, and it allows it to relax off. I think they are quite a good invention, if I'm honest. I'm not sure what the physios will say, but I feel better for it. And like I said, quite a few of the lads have invested in them. And in combination with the work that the physios have been doing with us, I'm personally feeling better for it.
Good. I just wanted to obviously ask you about Callum Roberts at the weekend. It was a desperately sad sight to see him go off. What was the players' reaction, and what's been the reaction since?
Yeah, I think you've nailed it there. It was a very sad to see him kind of get back and then have to go off how he did. Understandably, he was pretty distressed in the changing room. He's worked pretty hard to get back in this situation, back onto the pitch. He is the type of player that's very frustrated when he's not on the training ground. So for him to do all the hard work in the gym to get back to that situation, and the stuff that the coaches and that's done with him on the training ground kind of put him through his paces, and he's been fine to then get to that stage and not sure what the injury is. That I don't think they know yet. I think he's due to see someone more senior about that and find out the extent of it. But yeah, he was very upset, and I think the lads are a bit gutted for him as well, because we understand the work that he's done to get back out there to be with us, but we're also aware that he is one of them game-changing players for us. He can make something out of nothing, and to have him back was a big boost. And then now we're going to have to be in the position where we're without him again.
Yeah, lovely answer, mate. I think everybody sends him our best wishes. And just on Solihull, Moors, tomorrow night, after the performance against Hartlepool, what have you got to do to put it right on Tuesday?
I think there's no doubt it's going to be a difficult game. It's always quite tough going there. They look as though they've kind of changed their style of play since the last time we went to them, and so we'll have to address that a little bit different, and we've looked at a few bits today about it. We've just got to make sure that we take our definitely our last 45 minutes in the game. Credit to Hartlepool at the weekend. I thought they started the game really well and controlled it for the first half, and unfortunately we didn't kind of figure out a way of being able to kind of exert our pressure on them until the second half. Few tactical changes and we tweaked a bit, but we've just got to make sure that we bring the intensity and the work rate that we have in the previous games, and then kind of use a blueprint of what we've done in the previous games this season where we have really excelled. We spoke this morning about the Stockport game where us as a team, we all thought we played exceptionally well at Stockport at home. So hopefully we can bring them points and put them into action in the game and give us a great platform to then continue to the end of the season. Because I think now, 14 games left? And it's a great opportunity for us to really cement our position within that top 5 or 6. And look, no one knows how it's going to go, but if we perform how we know we can, there's still that opportunity that we could creep up there, but we're just taking one game at a time and making sure that we leave everything out on the field on Tuesday night.